Good evening and welcome back. I guess it's round two. So soon? I thought you were done for the. I forgot to do something. That was this clue thing. So let's start with that. Yesterday's double jeopardy category was the Middle Ages for 1200. Answer. Before she married the soon-to-be English King Henry II, this woman of Aquitaine had been married to King Louis VII of France. Question: who is Eleanor? I don't know who is this Eleanor person. Now for today's Double Jeopardy category, the Middle Ages, and this is for 2000. And tomorrow's final Jeopardy category is satellites. Satellites. Now back to today's Double Jeopardy answer. From the Middle Ages for 2,000 bucks. Answer. In 1329, David II became the Scottish king, but at age 5 struck less fear into foes than his predecessor, his father. I don't know, David the First? I mean, with David the second being 5, you'd think it'd be David the First? Okay, I think that's my beef. That's my answer, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. How's that? And I was trying to think of a story to add to this, because, well, my brain's tired, and I want to sleep. And sometimes I just don't put 2 and 3 together. So, still need the Kevin Lowe banner right about here. I got Messier, I got Anderson, I got coffee. Oh, yeah, I got my lamp on. I got Curry, I got Gretzky. And I got Al Hamilton. Yes, Al Hamilton did play with the Oilers. It was in the WHA, and I think he might have been on the team the first season. I think. That's what I think. So yeah. So let's get this right here. So Al Hamilton, Wayne Gretzky, Gary Curry, Grant Fuhr, Paul Coffey. I miss Fuhr. Paul Coffey, Glenn Anderson, Mark Messier. So I need Kevin Lowe. Yes, Kevin Lowe. The most recent number to have been retired. And Rod Phillips had his, for his amount of games called, but that wasn't really much of a jersey number. But and Glenn Sather, coach and GM, and president. I think he was president. Then there's a Peter Pocklington who owned the team. Until you made a few too many loans, and then the Alberta Treasury branches that came along is like, okay, start paying up, pal. Started by selling his gainers, and then he sold the Oilers, and he sold the Trappers, and sold some of his businesses stuff. Yeah, well, I don't want to get into further details with that. I did see a speaking of Gretzky, he was talking to a couple guys. I think it was on a podcast or something. Seen this on a friend's Twitter page. They posted it. Wayne Gretzky could have been in Vancouver. He could have ended up in Vancouver. I mean, he just won. I would assume this would have been after the '88 season. He just won the Stanley Cup. At that time, he was getting paid $800,000 Canadian, and he was the highest paid player. So he was the highest paid player at that time, with getting over $800,000 a season. So this would be about '88. Nelson Skelbania, he'd been friends with for several years. I don't know if I actually told this story or not, but I'm going to tell anyways. So Nelson Skelbania calls him. Makes an offer to Gretzky. Says to him, I'll buy the team. I'll pay you $3 million a season, and I'll give you 20%, 25% ownership stake. Gretzky turns it down, and he's like, afterwards, he's like, how dumb am I to not take that deal? He actually turned it down. He's like, yeah, I like the offer. It's just I'm just don't not ready for it yet. And he ends up in LA. He could have been with Vancouver. He could have had part ownership stake. Canucks would have been vastly improved. At that time, both Vancouver and LA were pretty bad. I mean, bad. The way they had the system set up for the playoffs, from 82 to 80, they had Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Vancouver, LA. As an example, it's like, Edmonton was going to likely. I was running where Edmonton was going to be first, and Calgary would have been second. Except 88, Calgary, it was the first. Winnipeg would have likely been third. That would have been either Vancouver or LA. And there's a few seasons in the North Division. You had Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit, St. Louis, Toronto. Detroit had a few lean years. Toronto had a lot of bad years. 21 team league at that time. He could have had 55 points and made the playoffs because somebody would have had a crappier record. Well, let's look at New Jersey and Pittsburgh. Let's say New Jersey would have had 55 points. Pittsburgh would have had 43. Yeah, there's always the Islanders, Rangers, Philadelphia, Washington in the playoffs for most of the 80s. In 1988, Nelson Skelbania comes along, offers Gretzky. Assuming he's like, I'll buy the team, I'll give you $3 million a season and 25% ownership. It's like, heard that, I was like, what? And he actually turned it down? Wow. That was like, good Lord, man. Why would you turn that down for? Like I mentioned, it would have really improved the Vancouver Canucks big time. It got better on their own when they got Trevor Linden. He would have helped Trevor Linden big time. I think Trevor Linden was drafted the same year Mike Modano was, 1988, I think. Imagine that. The Canucks eventually built their team around Trevor Linden, and they did get better. Much like Gretzky in LA, they got Gretzky. It's like, okay, let's build a team around him. They got better. And like when Pittsburgh got Mario Lemieux, eventually Pittsburgh got better. He's like, get the right player, they'll build a team around him. Like Modano in Minnesota and then Dallas. But yeah, so there. So I got my story in there. So there you go. So in the meantime and in between time, stay tuned for the next one.